Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Medeva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshina Murti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambattvamanusanthadami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sankapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavasti Tadatgatena Manasam Pashyanti Yam Yoginah Yasyantanna Vidusura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. So, namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. So, 51st shloka. Arjuna uvacha.
Arjuna uvacha.
Once more, all of you. Arjuna uvacha.
Arjuna uvacha.
Trishtvedham manusham rupam.
Trishvedam manusham rupam
Tava saumyam janardhana.
Tava saumyam janardana.
Idanīmasmi samvrittah.
Idanīmasmi samvrittah.
Sachetah prakritim gatah.
Sacheta prakritim gatah.
Good. So you must have now noticed the change in the meter. So here Arjuna comes back to the original dialogue meter which he was having. Anyway, so the Vishwarupa Darshanam climaxed with Arjuna sweating and trembling in fear on seeing the gory cosmic form of Krishna, and he pleaded with Krishna to stop the Vishwarupa Darshanam show and return to his original form of Ekarupa Ishvara. And acceding to his request, Krishna readily obliged, because the Vishwarupa Darshanam was shown on Arjuna's request. Now he is requesting stop the show. So Krishna says, okay, I will stop the show. And for stopping the show, all that Krishna had to do was to retrieve the Divya Chakshu from Arjuna. So Krishna is back to his human form, and Arjuna is back to his world of Ahankara, Mamakara, etc. So, as they say, all is well that ends well. And therefore, in this sloka, Arjuna is relaxed. back to his own self. And he says, I have now become normal. I have now become peaceful. So he says, Idanim samvrittah sachetah asmi. I have got back my mind. Previously, my mind was so stunned by the vision of Vishwarupa that I had lost my mind. Now only I have got it back. Sachetah. Chetah means mind. Sachetah means I am now with my original mind. I have got my mind as it were. Actually, the mind did not go away anywhere. It was always with Arjuna only. But, he was so stunned and stultified that he could not recognize I have a mind. It was overtaken by the Vishwarupa. And Prakritim Gataha. Now I am my natural self. I am at home. I am normal seeing the Ekarupa Ishvara. So now Krishna is also, what you can say, relaxed. And he says, we will chant, unmute yourself. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sudurdarshamidam Rupam.
Midam Rupam.
Drishtavanasi Yanmama.
Drishtavanasi Yanmama.
Janmama.
Deva Apyasya Rupasya.
Deva Apyasya
Yasya
Rupasya.
Rupasya.
Nityam Darshana Kankshinaha.
Nityam Darshana Kankshinah.
So the Anvaya is Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Idam Rupam Mama Yat Drishtavan Asi Sudurdarsham Api Devaha Nityam Darshana Kankshinaha Asya Rupasya. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Lord said, Idam Rupam, this form, Mama of mine, Yat Drishtavan Asi, which you have seen, means what? The Vishwarupa he is talking about. Sudurdarsham is very difficult to see. Api Devaha, even for gods. Nityam Darshana Kankshinaha, they are always craving for this vision. Asya Rupasya, of this form. So this form of, the Lord said, this form of mind, that is the Vishwarupam form, which you have seen, is very difficult to see. Even gods are always craving for the vision of this form. So now Lord Krishna winds up by glorifying the Vishwarupa Darshan. Even though Arjuna had mixed feelings about Vishwarupa, Krishna says, hey Arjuna, what you got was a very, very rare thing. Idam Rupam Sudurdarsham. Idam Rupam, the Vishwarupa form. Aneka Rupam is Sudurdarsham, is extremely difficult to see. It's a very rare event for anyone to see. Drishtavanasi Yatmama. This form of mind which you have seen just now, not because you deserve it, not because you are fully qualified, but because of my grace and your request, I gave you this darshan. And why is this getting this darshanam very rare, very difficult? Because Devaha api asya rupasya nityam darshana kankshinaha. Even the gods, the devatas, are eagerly craving for getting this Vishwarupa darshanam, Aneka Rupa darshanam. So when it is rarely available for gods themselves, what to talk of ordinary human beings? And therefore, Arjuna, consider yourself to be extremely lucky, extremely blessed. Kankshinaha means eagerly waiting. Darshana Kankshinaha means eagerly waiting to get this Vishwarupa Darshanam. Nityam Darshana Kankshinaha means always craving for this vision. And they are regularly praying for that. Still, I have never shown this Rupam to any of them. Instead, I chose you to show my cosmic form because of the bhakti and reverence and commitment you have shown all through this Gita teaching. Because those devas, they had an opportunity. Because what are devas? Devas, as I already explained, are exalted jivas only. When jivas earn lot of punyam, then they are promoted as devas. And then when the punyam is all gone, exhausted, they come back as ordinary jivas. And then again the cycle starts. So when these jivas were in the human form, on the earth, they could have also got this Vishwarupa Darshanam if they had actually taken to Gita teaching. But they were all great Vaidikas and they believed in earning more and more and more punyam. So their focus was on Karma Kanda, not Jnana Kanda. They performed all the karmas as ordained in the Vedas, earned lot of punyam, and they became devas. Now, once they have become devas, they realize, oh my God, I have missed this opportunity. I could have got this Vishwarupa Darshanam only when I was in the human form. But that life I wasted. Even though now I have got promotion and all, I am sitting as a, Indra Devata or whatever, Vayu Devata, Varuna Devata, etc. More powers I have got than the human being. Still, this Vishwarupa Darshanam is something which I want to see. So they are craving every day, always for this Vishwarupa Darshanam. And that is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. And he says, I will now reiterate what I have already told you. Naham vedairna tapasa.
Naham Vedena tapasa.
Unmute. Naham vedairna tapasa.
Naham vedairna tapasa.
Na dhanena cha chejyaya.
Nadanena chejaya.
Shakya evam vido drashtum.
Shakya evam vido drishtam.
Drishtavanasi mam yatha.
Drishtavanasi mam yata.
Anvaya is na vedaihi, na tapasa, na dhanena, na cha ijyaya shakya hai aham drashtum evam vidah. Yatha drishtavan asi mam. Na vedaihi, neither by the study of Vedas, na tapasa, nor by austerity, na dhanena, nor by charity, na ijyaya, nor by worship. Shakya aham drashtum, can I be seen? Evam vidaha, in this form. Yatha drishtavan asi, as you have seen mam, me. So neither by the study of Vedas, nor by austerity, nor by charity, nor by worship can I be seen in this form as you have seen me. So in the previous verse, Lord Krishna said that Vishwarupa Darshanam is a very rare thing. So naturally, there will be a question that if it is a very rare thing, what are the means of getting the Vishwarupa Darshanam? Because even Devas have not been able to get that. So Krishna wants to tell Arjuna how to go about it to get Vishwarupa Darshan. And it is a lesson for all of us. It is a guidance for all of us. Ultimately, when you look at Vishwarupa Darshanam, what it is? Vishwarupa Darshanam is nothing but perceiving everything in this universe as the same as Ishvara. You reduce everything, all objects of all your sense organs to a common denominator, Ishvara. That is Vishwarupa Darshanam. So when you are seeing a tree, you see Ishvara. When you are seeing a cockroach, you are seeing Ishvara. When you are seeing a building, you are seeing Ishvara. When you are seeing sun, moon, stars, ocean, sea, everywhere, only Ishvara is there. Once you get that understanding, that is what is Vishwarupa Darshan. It is not some special TV show or some show that it will last for 3 hours or 5 hours and then it will shut down. No. Once you get this Vishwarupa Darshanam, you will always have this Vishwarupa Darshanam throughout this life. And as I told you earlier, Vishwarupa Darshanam is a very important step for Arupa Darshanam. So whatever we are perceiving with the sense objects are Ishvara, and whatever is actually making the entire universe go around, perform everything perfectly, which I cannot perceive with my sense organs, is also Ishvara. And once you get that knowledge, your Vedanta teaching is complete. Not only you should get that knowledge, you must abide in that knowledge. Your transactions with the entire world, with everybody, with everything in the world should be based on that knowledge. And therefore, we must understand Vishwadu. Of course, here Vyasacharya has presented it very dramatically. But there is no drama involved. And therefore, what Krishna is saying that, okay, Arjuna, till now you were actually worshipper of Ekarupa Darshan. You have probably done, I'm talking about a time when people were following all the Vedic rituals, not today's times. So you have followed all the Vedic rituals, everything you have done tapas, austerities you have actually observed. Everything you have done. But let me tell you, all those things are useless for the purpose of Vishwarupa Darshan. Those karmas and those austerities and all those things have got their own purpose for which they are very good. But if you want Vishwarupa Darshanam, none of them are going to help you. And he wants to give this message in these two verses, verse 53 and 54. And as I said in the previous class, the means that Lord Krishna wants to mention is bhakti, which he will talk about in the next verse, in the verse 54. So eagerness, a sincere desire or craving called Tivra Bhakti is the sadhana for Vishwarupa Darshan. And once that bhakti towards, say, an idol in the temple or bhakti towards a guru, or bhakti even at your own home before the altar. You may have a lot of photos of various various devatas, various gods. Once that bhakti transforms into seeing everything in the universe as Ishvara, as Bhagavan, once you have that reverence, that is what is called Tivra Bhakti. With that, Vishwarupa Darshanam will be possible. And therefore, Krishna is underlying a very important sadhana, bhakti. In fact, bhakti is not a sadhana. Bhakti is an attitude, a way of life for us. A reverential attitude towards everything. Many times, in fact, I would like to recall Puja Swamiji. See, obviously he was old and sometimes he will have cold and all that. So they will, when he is taking the class, there will be a box of this, what they call paper towels, will be there. So once in a while he will take a towel and then he will, wipe his nose and mouth, etc. But then what he does, you must observe it very carefully. He will not wipe and just throw the towel. Even though it's a paper towel, it cannot be used again. It cannot be washed or anything. He will actually very carefully fold it and then keep it nicely on the table in one corner of the table, so later on can be cleaned. So these are all small things which we learn from our own gurus by their own behavior. So his action, highlights the fact that even the paper towel, you are using it, Ishvara is there, handle it with care. And as I said earlier, in the scriptures, to glorify one sadhana, they put down all other sadhanas. I told you about Nahi Ninda Nyaya. On their own, none of the sadhanas are inferior. They are all equally important, rather extremely important. But when the focus is on one particular sadhana, the other sadhanas are ninditam. We have already discussed this in the earlier class with few examples also. And therefore, in this verse, Krishna is saying that all other sadhanas are inferior or of no consequence at all for the limited purpose of getting Vishwarupa Darshanam. And he reiterates some of the sadhanas which he has mentioned before in the 48th verse. So, Vedaihi evam vidaha aham drashtum na shakyaha. Even if you are a great Vedic scholar, even if you can chant the entire Vedas, you can even be a Jata Vallabha, Ganapathy. Jata Vallabha is a highly respected title and honorific used in traditional Vedic scholarship in India. Like we have got BA, MA, PhD, etc., MPhil, PhD. Like that, Jata Vallabha is a very highly respected title. It is awarded to Sanskrit scholars who have achieved complete mastery over a highly complex, advanced method of Vedic chanting known as Jata. These are all type of, Vedic, there are different ways Vedic mantras can be chanted. And then Ganapathy is a highly respected title given to a Vedic scholar who has mastered one of the advanced and complex method of reciting the Vedas known as Ganapatha. So these titles, what do they indicate? They indicate a lifelong dedication to the rigorous oral tradition, accurate pronunciation of the Vedic texts. And mind you, these titles are not just conferred, because he happens to be my brother-in-law or father-in-law, whatever it is. Students who go to Veda Patashala and who are desirous of continuing their Vedic studies, so they get into all these, special type of chanting or complex method of chanting. Then they have to pass examinations. And those examinations are held by people who themselves are, Jata Vallabhas and Ghanapatis. I don't know, some time ago there was one video circulating how one boy, he has mastered the chanting of the Vedas, and he is Shankaracharya. I have a vague memory of that. He gives him a test, and he will suddenly say, "Okay, from Rig Veda, quote this particular, mantra." Then suddenly he will switch to Atharvana Veda. Then he will switch to Sama Veda. So the student has to be ready with everything, complete Vedic knowledge. So Krishna says, even with such great Vedic scholarship, one cannot get Vishwarupa Darshanam. So evam vidaha aham Vishwarupaha aham Vishwarupa Darshanam is not possible even by highest Vedic scholarship. Then tapasa. Even if you practice elaborate and intense tapas, all types of rhythms you observe, austerities and practices, through tapas also one cannot get Vishwarupa Darshanam. So Vedas will not help, tapas will not help. Then na danena. By charity also Vishwarupa Darshanam cannot be attained. In fact, Dhanam or charity is glorified in all religions, including the Abrahamic religions. Charity has a very important role to play in the spiritual journey. In fact, it is an important sadhana for developing vairagya. And that's why Puja Swamiji used to say, it is normally for a human being very difficult to give. Because for crores of birth, we are used to only taking. Isn't it? Suppose somebody comes and asks you for some help. What will be the response? What will I get if I help you? So the getting something is only the human nature, basic human nature. And therefore, giving charity, parting with your, money or wealth or whatever it is a very difficult proposition. And therefore, Puja Swamiji used to say, initially it will be difficult, but then clench your teeth. Even though I don't like it, but I am giving charity. Give something, 1 rupee you give, $1 you give. Every time somebody seeks some help or something, or you see somebody in need, you give dhanam. Initially, it will be with, maybe whether this fellow deserves it or not. All those questions will be there. But he says, once you have started giving, you get used to giving. The no mind charity will become half mind charity. And then later on, you will realize that there is actually a happiness in giving. When I see somebody, some child is starving and sitting on the roadside, nobody to care. You go to a restaurant, buy a pack of, some food and give it to the child and see the smile in the child's face. That is Vishwarupa Darshana. You are seeing Bhagavan. So, charity is, whether you take it Islam or even Islam, they have got what's the jizya or something like that. Christianity also holds charity in high esteem. So, as such, charity is very useful. But for the limited purpose of Vishwarupa Darshanam, it has no role to play. Then, Nacha Ijjaya. Ijjaya means yajna, rituals. Even by performing rituals, one cannot have Vishwarupa Darshanam. That is also relatively an inferior sadhana only. And such a rare Vishwarupa, which cannot be attained even through all these sadhanas, Arjuna, such a rare Vishwarupa you got. And see the irony. You did not want it to continue and wanted me to revert to Ekarupa. So, yata drishtva nasi mam. Just as you have seen my cosmic form a few minutes before, evam vidaha aham drashtum na shakyaha. Such a cosmic form, my Vishwarupa form, cannot be seen easily, cannot be attained easily. Now there will be a question, in case it has occurred to some of you. What is that? Krishna in the 48th verse gave the same message that Vishwarupa form cannot be seen by various sadhanas like Veda Dhyayanam, Yajna Dhyayanam, Dhanam, charity, Laukika, Vaidika karmas, etc. And in this sloka also, he is more or less repeating the same message. Now in Shastra, any repetition is considered to be a dosha, a fault. It is called punarukti dosham. So the question will be, since Krishna is repeating himself, does it not suffer from the flaw of repetition, which is not acceptable in traditional Sanskrit literature? The answer to this question is that this repetition is not considered a flaw because in certain context, repetition serves a deliberate rhetorical purpose called punaravrittihi, to build profound emphasis and highlight the spiritual aspect. So, when a particular point has to be highlighted, to be shown different from all other points, Shastra allows repetition to a limited extent. And Vyasacharya has used that license to create two slokas with almost the same message. In sloka 48, Krishna concluded his revelation of the Vishwarupa, and there he highlighted the exclusivity and unprecedented nature of the vision that Arjuna has just received. In this verse 53, even though Krishna repeats some aspects of the earlier statement, but this time it is in response to Arjuna's request to revert to his familiar human form. He uses the repetition to establish a crucial philosophical point. No doubt, both the awe-inspiring cosmic form and his loving, pleasing personal form are equally beyond the reach of mere intellectual and physical efforts. That is what Krishna is emphasizing. I want you to understand, Arjuna, that you have not been wise enough to ask me to revert to the Ekarupa form. In fact, it is such a rare event that you could have continued to see the form without getting disturbed by this. Now, that leaves us with another question. If all these sadhanas cannot help, which sadhana will really help? Which, as I said, Krishna discloses in the next verse. Verse 54, we will read. You can all unmute. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakyah
Bhaktya tvananyaya shakyah
ahamevam vidhorjuna
amevam vidurjanam
jnatum drashtum cha tatvena
yatum drashtum cha tatvena
praveshtum cha parantapa.
praveshtum cha parantatapa.
Hey Arjuna, tu ananyaya bhaktya aham drashtum shakya hai evam vidah jnatum tatvena praveshtum cha he parantapa. Hey Arjuna, O Arjuna, tu, however, ananyaya bhaktya, by undivided devotion, aham drashtum shakya hai, I can be seen, evam vidah, in this form. Jnatum cha tatvena, known truly, praveshtum cha, and merged into he parantapa Arjuna. O Arjuna, however, by undivided devotion, I can be seen in this form, known truly, and merged into. So here Krishna gives the means of Vishwarupa Darshan. And that means is bhakti alone. Bhakti means what? Devotion or love for the Lord. Now, question is, what type of bhakti is indicated there? Because Krishna has already talked about 4 types of bhakti. So, in order to indicate what type of bhakti he is talking about, Krishna is adding an adjective, ananyaya. So he says, ananyaya bhaktya evam vidah drashtum shakya. So he is not talking about ordinary bhakti, but ananya bhakti. Now what is ananya bhakti? We have already discussed 4 levels of bhakti which Krishna pointed out in the 7th chapter. This we discussed in the context of verse 48. I hope you remember. It's not too old. What are the 4? Artha hai, artharthi, jignasu, and jnani bhakti, which actually speaking can be reduced to 3 levels. So these 4 levels can be understood in 3 levels. Artha hai and artharthi is the basic level, starting level. Then next level is jignasa. Then jnani is the 3rd and final level. And we discussed in detail all these levels. I don't want to go into those details, but just a quick recap. Initially, our devotion to Lord is only for the benefit of worldly goals which is otherwise called Sakama Bhakti. I am devoted to the Lord. I go to the temple. I do puja every day. Everything I do. But I use Ishvara as a sadhana, only as a means for the sake of worldly ends. Which means I promise Ishvara that if I get such and such thing done, then I will do this for you. This is called what? Business bhakti, commercial bhakti, or you can say bargain bhakti. You do this for me, and I will do that for you. And there are some very intelligent and smart people. They will promise to do for the Lord only after the Lord has kept his promise. They will not make any advance payment. Because suppose if the Lord fails to deliver, then they need not keep up their end of the bargain, isn't it?
Partial payment you can.
Even partial payment they don't do. They will say, you supply the goods, then only I will make the payment, and that to cash on delivery. So that means they are not even willing to trust God. And sometimes they will end up offering some cheaper alternatives to what they had initially promised. But long ago, I had read one story. I remember some bits of it. There was this person, a jeweler. So he had some, some serious disease. So he prayed to God, "Oh God, please rid me of this disease, and I promise you to give you, this golden bangles, 2 sets of golden bangles." So like that, every day he will pray and promise to God, I will give you 2 sets of golden bangles. Now, after some time, few years, he got completely cured of the disease. Very happy. Then suddenly he remembered, oh my God, I have promised to give this Bhagavan 2 sets of golden bangles, isn't it? For me, I'm a jeweler. It's not a big problem. I can give. But what will Bhagavan do with these 2 sets of golden bangles? It will be of no use to him. So anyhow, I have promised to give, so I will certainly give. But instead of golden bangles, I will give him gold-covered bangles. That is also golden bangle only. Looks like gold only, isn't it? These days, whenever some of my relatives come, if they happen to be women, in Coimbatore I'm talking about, they will visit a place near Gandhipuram where they've got lot of shops, row of shops of this gold covered ornaments. And of course, these days it makes sense because if you wear real gold, then somebody may actually pull the chain and take it away, or cut your ears and take the earrings and so. So this jeweler said, I will give you this gold covered ornaments, gold covered bangles. So this is called business bhakti, sakama bhakti, bargain bhakti, where God is the means, worldly things are the ends. And as even once a person practices this bhakti for some time, even though it is a sakama bhakti, it is still bhakti is there, It is better than no bhakti. Sakama bhakti is certainly better than no bhakti at all. And because of his bhakti, what happens? The mind gets purer and purer and purer. And then he begins to understand that it is better to have God not as the means, but as the end itself. Because he has become mature enough to understand that everything in the world has got threefold doshas. I hope you all remember those also. Swami Paramatanandaji's analysis of threefold doshas. What are they? Dukkha mishritatvam. Every pleasure in the creation is mixed with pain also. Atruptikaratvam. Whatever I get, I will never get total fulfillment. I will seek more and more only. And finally, bandhagatvam. I will only get only addicted to them. I will be enslaved by them. So this dosha or defect of the worldly finite things, this bhakta starts to understand. And he starts to realize that God is the only reliable one which is free from all these three doshas. Adi Shankara says in Manisha Panchakam, Shashvannashwarameva Vishwamakilam Nischitya Vacha Guroho Nityam Brahma Nirantaram Vimrishata Nirvyajasastatmana Nirvyajasastatmana. Memorizing, remembering these slokas sometimes difficult. If you are not daily chanting, it becomes difficult. So here the Bhakta says, I get Nitya Anitya Vivekaha. Jagat is Anityam, Ishvara alone is Shashvatam, therefore reliable. And therefore, once this Viveka comes to me, the direction changes. Instead of looking upon the world as an end and God as a means, it is reversed. World becomes the means and all the activities becomes the means. Even Grihastha becomes the means. All the people coming and going also becomes means. The only end is Ishvara, which in Vedanta language we call Brahman. In the religious language we will call Ishvara. Now Ishvara is the sadhyam and the world is sadhanam. This is the second level of bhakti, which Krishna calls a jignasu bhakti, otherwise called mumukshutva bhakti, otherwise called ananya bhakti. If this ananya bhakti is there, then Vishwarupa darshanam is possible. And this will lead to the highest bhakti. It is not mentioned here, but to complete the discussion, what is the third and final level of bhakti? It is a bhakti in which God is neither the means nor the end. God is neither the sadhana nor the sadhyam, but it is I, the siddha vastu itself. Because as long as I look upon God as the means or the end, I consider the God to be different from me. So when I look upon Lord as sadhana, I am in Dvaitam. When I look upon God as goal, then also I am in Dvaitam. But in the third level, I come to Advaitam, wherein God is neither the means nor the end. God is not the destination. God is the traveler himself. God is the seeker himself. God is not the sought. That is the final stage. That discussion we will keep for later chapters, detailed discussion of that. So here we are talking about Ananya Bhakti, where the God is goal itself. Therefore, he says, Ananyaya Bhaktya Aham Evam Vidaha Drashtum Shakyaha. And this will lead to what? Tatvena Jnatum Shakyaha. And in due course, you will know the Lord in his real nature. That is, you will know the Lord is neither the sadhanam nor the sadhyam, neither the means nor the end, but the Lord is I myself, aham brahmasmi. Tatvena jnatum means advaita jnanam praptum. A person can come to that, and through that jnanam praveshtum cha shakya. And through this knowledge, the devotee merges into the Lord. He becomes one with the Lord. Merges or becomes one are all figurative expressions. That means what? He gains the wisdom that Lord is never different from me. The notion of division is removed. So the removal of the notion of division is called merger. And it is a purely cognitive process. There is no question of any outwardly merger or change. All these are possible once you start with bhakti. That is the idea Krishna conveys, and that is summed up in the next and final sloka of this chapter. Okay. We will chant. All of you unmute. Somebody is unmuted and then I am hearing the background sound.
Anjali Naik.
So now muted, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, you can all unmute for a few seconds. Then you can mute. So, mad karma krit mat paramaha
मत्कर्म कृत मत्परमः
mad bhakta sanga varjitaha
Madbhakta
मद्भक्तसङ्गवर्जितः
Garjitaha
nirvaira sarva bhuteshu
Nirvair Sarvabhuteshu
सर्वभूतेषु
yas yah samameti pandava.
यः
Yah
मामेति
Sameti Pandava
Actually, it should be nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yah sahamameti pandava. That should be the way it should be.
Samameti Pandava.
So, Anvaya is Saha Yaha Matkarma Krit Madbhaktaha Matparamaha Sangavarjitaha Nirvairaha Sarva Bhuteshu Eti Mam He Pandava. Saha He Yaha Matkarma Krit, who does work for me. Matbhaktaha, who is my devotee. Matparamah, who keeps me as the supreme goal. Sangavarjitaha, who is free from attachment. Nirvairaha sarvabhuteshu, and who is free from hatred towards all. Etimam, reaches me. He Pandava, O Arjuna. He who does works for me, who is my devotee, who keeps me as the supreme goal, who is free from attachment, who is free from hatred towards all, that person reaches me, O Arjuna. So Krishna is revealing the roadmap. So this is a capsule verse. You can call it a seed verse, which will be expanded in the next chapter. It is the definition of bhakti. When we say bhakti, bhakti, what do we mean by bhakti? Krishna reveals it in this one sloka. So about this we will be seeing elaborately in the next chapter. But here I will give you what you call a bird's eye view of the idea contained. According to Krishna, bhakti is not a particular sadhana. I already told you that a few minutes ago. Bhakti is the name of the entire range of spiritual sadhanas. It is not one sadhana, but it is a common name for entire range of spiritual sadhanas which will take a person to moksha. This is very important to understand because till now we have been considering bhakti. Till now we have been considering bhakti as a reverence towards God. We have never looked at bhakti as a range of spiritual sadhanas. And this range of spiritual sadhanas is broadly divided into three in the Shastras, which Krishna himself will divide into 5 in the next chapter. The Vedas are divided into 3. In fact, Krishna will divide it into 5, as I said, in the next chapter. That we will see in the next chapter. I will keep the suspense for now. So the first level of sadhana is called karma lakshana bhakti. Bhakti which is in the form of karma yoga. Bhakti which is expressed in the form of karma yoga is karma lakshana bhakti. Now you may ask, how can you call karma yoga as an expression of bhakti? Because karma yoga is only a form of karma. How can it be bhakti if you ask? Krishna's answer is, karma yogi can be called bhakta because karma yoga requires intense bhakti to the Lord. Without devotion to the Lord, karma yoga is impossible. Words like Ishwara Arpana Bhava and Ishwara Prasada Bhava will be meaningless. And therefore, karma yoga is a form of bhakti. Then the next question is, how do you say that karma yoga involves bhakti? In fact, all these we have discussed before. I am just putting them together. We say that because karma yoga involves 2 stages. In the first stage, I am a karta. And as a karta, I am doing various actions. And whatever actions I do, they will be converted into karma phalam. And this karma phalam, I have to necessarily receive. And when I am receiving the karma phalam, I become a bhokta. So initially, I am a karma karta. Later, I am a phala bhokta. And the phalam can be anything. More than what I expected, less than what I expected, not what I expected, and the worst, opposite to what I expected. I remember long before I gave you the example which Puja Swamiji often quotes of a person crossing the road to catch a bus. So all types of results are possible. Now in Karma Yoga, the most important thing is a karta, karma karta. I have to dedicate all the actions at the feet of the Lord by a sankalpa. Sankalpa means what? A resolution, a thought. Mamo partha samasta dudakshay dvara sri paramesha prityartam or narayana prityartam aham idam karma karishye. It is not an action of joining palms together which matters, but the thought in the mind which you have to have in the background which is important. And at the end of the karma, I take some water with some tulsi or just a spoon of water, offer it to the Lord with the words, Kayena vacha manasa indriyirva, buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat, karomi yadyat sagalam parasmai srimad narayana edi samarpayami, om tat sat brahmarpanam astu. And therefore, as a karta, I have to dedicate all the karmas to Ishvara. And this is called Ishwararpana Bhavana. And Ishwararpana Bhavana requires bhakti. And then the karma phalas are going to come later in the future. I don't know what they will be, whether they will be what I expected them to be or not. Whatever they are certain to come. In fact, every experience we get in our life is our own karma phalam, including the mosquito bite. So every experience is karma phalam. So when I receive the karma phalam, which could range from the bitterest to the happiest experience, I have to accept it without resistance with Ishvara Prasada Bhavanaya. So as a karta, I have got Ishwararpana Bhavana. As a bhokta, the enjoyer of the result, I have got Ishvara Prasada Bhavana. And because of this Bhavana, Karma Yoga becomes a bhakti. And therefore, Karma Yoga is a form of bhakti. Without bhakti, there can never be Karma Yoga. We'll stop here. Continue the next class. We'll finish this chapter and then we will start the summary also in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Thank you,
Namaskaram.
Guruji.
Om. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaste. Pranam.
Pranam. Thank you.
Guruji, one slight doubt. Maybe my misunderstanding or I not understood properly. When Krishna and Arjuna, when they are discussing, is it that Krishna is indirectly hinting to Arjuna that I can take the Vishwarupam form and kindles the interest in Arjuna, and Arjuna in turn says, let me see your Vishwarupam.
Yeah, because Vishwarupa form is the real form of God.
Correct.
So Arjuna is actually, somewhere he has actually heard that or must have read, oh, there is this Vishwarupa form. And Arjuna, like all of us, thinks that it is some different projection and, like we see all
3D projection.
3D projection. So he says, please show me that. Whereas the original form of Ishvara is Vishwarupam only. This Ekarupa Ishvara is only for the people who are actually what you can call nursery students or primary school students.
Ordinary mortals.
Exactly. So when Arjuna is asking, Krishna probably thinks, is my interpretation, oh, this fellow has matured enough. He understands that Vishwarupa is my real form. So he wants to see it. Okay, very good, excellent, I will show you.
Okay.
So when he shows, then he realizes that this fellow
he gets scared.
Not that matured as I thought him to be. He likes all the good things about Vishwarupa, but he doesn't want to see the bad things about Vishwarupa. Because Vishwam includes everything, good and
everything,
bad.
Good and bad. Yes.
Good, bad, ugly, all three things it includes.
Absolutely.
So that is what it is. So there is probably Krishna is slightly mistaken that he thinks that Arjuna is now matured. So maybe I will show him Vishwarupa, and then maybe one more chapter I will explain to him what is Aham Brahmasmi and all Tattvamasi, and then close the Bhagavad Gita. But that does not happen. That's why Vyasacharya, while composing Bhagavad Gita, has actually kept in mind how the human mind works rather. Because when you see something, you want to see more. But when you see all, then you don't want to see all, right? So then again you have to come back, take 2 steps back, and then again start traveling, which is what he will do from 13th to the 18th sloka. Even that in the 18th sloka, because Krishna's only one main purpose of the entire teaching is Arjuna should act in a dharmic way under any given circumstance. And in this circumstance of a war with Kauravas, a battle with Kauravas, his dharmic duty is to fight the war, to sustain dharma in this world. That is how the whole thing starts. But if he just gives a lecture, this fellow is wanting to run away to sannyasa and all that. He doesn't want to fight because of all this, moha.
True, true.
So Vyasacharya knows that these are all human weaknesses. And it is not that you listen to 1 lecture, 2 lecture, 3 chapters, 4 chapters, your human weakness will go away and you will become Aham Brahmasmi Jnani. Not like that. So what I might say is, even after all this 18 chapter teaching, what does Krishna tell Arjuna? He says, I have told you whatever I have to tell you. Now, yatechasi tata kuru. Whatever you wish you do. This is what the whole thing is.
The ball is in your court, you take a
Ball
call.
is in your court. Now you want to do all these things, you do. Otherwise, you want to fight, you fight. You want to run away, you run away. But this is the fact of a human life. This is how the human life, a spiritual progress happens. So he has laid bare the entire spiritual journey, that roadmap for all of us. So this is Arjuna is only a nimitta, right? So it is all meant for us to, if we are not able to read the entire Mahabharata, at least the crux of Mahabharata, this Bhagavad Gita, we can study and we can transform our own lives, our own thinking, our own attitudes.
Definitely. Yeah.
That is what is Shashwata Ananda. That is what will give us permanent happiness under any circumstances. No despair, no grief, no sorrow, nothing. That is the whole purpose of Gita. Okay. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Guru. Hari Om.
Yes, any other question?
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om. No hands are going up. So I presume everyone has decided to mull over.
Guruji, it is me, Lata. Namaste.
Namaste.
You don't have to answer this question because it's totally out of the context, my question, Guruji. Not regarding today's session. I'm trying to do some learn Sanskritam through Bhagavad Gita. That's from the Samskrita Bharati UK. I just all of a sudden I had a doubt. These shlokas, are they just meant for? Have they been Kurukshetra war, if it has really taken place, and all the dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna, and Arjuna and Duryodhana and Drona, whatever happens in the beginning itself, and did it really take place, or if it has taken place, was it edited by Vyasacharya? Because in that Duryodhana, in the first few shlokas, when he's telling Dronacharya who all are there in his own army, he just says, according to the shloka, he says we have Drona, we have Bhishma, we have Kripa, and all that. So where it is, you don't address your gurus and your elders like that. So the conversation would have been in a different way, but it's been presented to us like this, or I had this very unusual question, but you don't have to answer that right away, Guruji.
It is not unusual, because who is saying he is with Drona and Duryodhana?
Yes.
Duryodhana is a person without any culture. So he doesn't have any Guru Bhakti or anything.
Okay.
Just he has gone to the school because he was a royal prince. He was also sent along with the Pandavas to the Gurukulam, and he learned there.
Mhm.
But the
He doesn't have the
reverence
respect that he needs
Pandava,
to
the
have.
respect, the relationship with the Pandavas have with all these, especially Arjuna.
Yes.
Duryodhana doesn't have. Because he's of that nature only. His ahambhavam is so much.
Yes.
Ahankara is overpowering Duryodhana's mamakara also. Rather. It is so strong. And that is why he sees all these people as merely instruments in his hands to win the war.
So that those words are really so.
That is
Not
one
that
part of the answer, right? The second one is you ask whether this is all happened or whatever it is. You see, this Bhagavad Gita comes in Mahabharata, which is called a itihasa.
Itihasa, there are
So
dates and you have
itihasa
mentioned
means
them.
what? It happened like this, correct?
Yeah.
Now,
Itihasa.
whenever history is written, there
Yes,
is
Guru.
always the person who is writing, he will put his own imagination, his own interpretation of the events, and then he will present it.
Right.
In fact, if a German scholar, I'm just imagining, I don't know whether it has happened or not. German scholar writes about Hitler.
Mhm.
He will justify many of the things Hitler did.
Mhm. Okay.
Because he will say that context was like that, the period was like that, so that is why he had to do all these things for the benefit of the people only and all.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Got
when
it.
we talk about itihasa, we have to remember it is always based on facts plus some imagination, some, because if you just tell history, as it is plain, nobody will be interested in it. They'll forget it.
Nobody will be interested. It's not possible also, I guess.
Not, you see, if you ask history students, people, of course, you are from medicine. If you ask the art students who have studied history, they will just study history because it is one of the subjects they, according to them, which gives them good marks in the examinations.
Mm.
And there are, things like that, those history students, I have seen many of them. I was one of them. If a question comes, the way the history answer sheets are evaluated is not based on the content of what the student has written, but it is based on the thickness of the answer sheets which the students has submitted.
Oh.
So normally what will happen, a student will read a question and then he will, one or two paragraphs, he will try to answer the question. Then he will add and add and add on his own. Then finally, he will conclude with one or two paragraphs relating to the question. So the person who is actually correcting so many answer sheets, of course, these days and all, I'm talking about my days, where physically answer sheets had to be collected by the teachers. They will have 100, 200 answer sheets to correct within a few days. What they will do? So they will just read one or two paragraphs here, there, oh, okay, give him full marks. They will not read what is there. It must be some film story he must have written. So, itihasas are always a combination of facts which happened, put in a certain context. Here, Vyasacharya has used an actual rivalry within a family between two, two sets of cousins.
Yes.
To give a message to the entire world through Mahabharata. So where, because of his, what I could say, vision, he is able to analyze the human psychology completely. Throughout Mahabharata, you will find it rather. And then present it to the world. And then, one of the largest epic which has been, created by Vyasacharya. So whole Mahabharata itself, what we have to stay as students, as spiritual seekers, whenever we look at any text, any scripture, we should
Message.
see what is the message we want to take away from. Instead of worrying whether this is true, this is not true, whether really Ekalavya story is there, whether it was true. Did Dronacharya asked Ekalavya to cut his thumb, etc.? Might be true, might not be true.
In the real sense, all this is not important for the spiritual journey.
Real sense, that's not
But,
important.
because just the question arose in my mind, I thought I just speak
No,
up.
that's fair enough. Because this also one must understand. Because Itihasa is not 100% pure fact reporting of history. It has a large component of actually what happened. But it has also got some own contribution of interpretation by Vyasacharya and all that. And that surfaces, through Krishna's words, it surfaces in the Bhagavad Gita. Because question may arise. Now we have taken 245 classes. Today was the 245th class. We have just reached the end of 11th chapter. Okay. Now when I studied in the Gurukulam, this same Bhagavad Gita was taught for 3 years, daily classes. And now Shankara Bhashyam, if you see, it's a very voluminous thing.
Yes, Guruji. Yeah.
Such a teaching and all these things, people will ask, how come Krishna actually told all these things, all the 18 chapters to Arjuna sitting in the battlefield? It would have taken years and years and years, or even at least weeks and weeks and weeks. Till such time, everybody was waiting. Let Krishna and Arjuna discussion finish, then we will start the war. No. So these are all sort of, we have to understand that it is set, it's all sort of figurative kind of things that Vyasacharya introduces this in the battlefield. Because from his perspective, our entire life is a battlefield between dharma and adharma.
Yes, it is true.
Isn't it? So when you are caught in that conflict of dharma and adharma, how you should be guided, what guidance you should take. Now, fortunately for him, because Vyasacharya is a Dirghadarshi, whether it happened, whether Vyasacharya is a Chiranjeevi.
Yes, Guruji.
So, whenever Mahabharata happened, he was there to witness it. Isn't it?
Yes.
So, therefore, many of these things we must, the questions will be there, but we must understand that many of these things are figuratively spoken. Actually, if you look at it giving a very simple example, another example from Mahabharata. When Mahabharata was fought, what was Krishna's age and Arjuna's age?
That's what sometime I think you mentioned, 90 years or 80 years or something.
Krishna was 84, Arjuna was 80 years old. Now today, 80-year-old person, he can't even walk a few steps without a walking stick. Do you think he will go and pick up a bow, arrow and sword and all, fight a war? So again, we have to understand that today what seems impossible or very difficult, not possible for us, for human beings, perhaps it was possible in previous yugas. So we have to bring in all these things to understand what exactly all this is all about. And this is all, mind you, part of our spiritual education, spiritual understanding rather. That is important. I hope I have.
Yes, Guruji, very much, very much. Very much. Thank you.
Sometimes my answers are very long, so that I assume some doubts, further doubts you may have, and some examples I had. That is why. Okay, Hari Om.
It was a very nice explanation, Guruji. Thank you. Hari Om.
Guruji, I have a question on Sanskrit.
Yes.
Slokam 52, in the Padacheda, there is a word Asyat Rupasya. Asya Rupasya.
Sixth case.
So, both are in sixth case.
Yeah.
So, is it Visheshna Visheshyam? Is that an example of Visheshna Visheshyam? Asya Rupasya?
Yeah, if you take Rupam as Visheshyam, Asya Rupasya means Vishwa Rupasya, right? So, you can either take Rupasya as Visheshanam, and Asya representing the Vishwarupa as Visheshyam. Visheshanam, Visheshyam. Sorry. Visheshanam is Asya and Visheshya is, I'm getting confused. Visheshanam is Rupasya, Visheshya is Asya. You can take it that way. But both are in sixth cases rather. So Sambandha is there, right? So it is Sambandha Shashti. Asya, Rupasya, both are having a relationship with each other.
Okay. In the previous shloka, the word of gataha is used. Gataha.
Gamdhatu.
Gataha.
Gataha
So,
means reach, to understand also is there.
so double meaning, huh? Like.
Gata, Gamdhatu has got hundreds of meanings.
Okay.
Gamyate means to understand. Gamyate also means to go.
Okay.
So we have to take the meanings of these dhatus. Context, based on the context.
Okay.
And if we don't know the context, if it's a Bhagavad Gita and all, we go to Adi Shankara's Bhashyam, we will know, okay, this is how he has treated. So let us, he is our Guru, let us take it that. That is how we have to proceed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the thing is, the confusion is that I have is Brahman considered Bhagavan? Brahman, when we say consciousness, adana Bhagavan, adan kelvi.
No, Bhagavan, when we say, it is Brahman plus Maya combination. Because Bhaga Asya Asti is Bhagavan. Now, what is Bhaga? Bhaga means it is some sixfold properties, qualifications. Right? So, the person who has got the sixfold qualification is called Bhagavan. Now, Brahman consciousness itself has got no attributes.
Yeah, okay.
So, only Maya has got all the attributes. Aishwaryam. And so many six are there, right? So, when we say Bhagavan, we mean Ishwara. Combination of Brahman and Maya. But when we say Brahman, we refer to pure consciousness. Brahmatma, Atma also pure consciousness.
So Vishwarupam is part of, so Vishwarupam is actually part of Maya then. It's a
combination of Maya and Brahman.
Okay.
Vishwarupa is a combination because Maya is what? The entire universe is Maya. It is a projection. Isn't it? That's why in Taittiriya Upanishad, and what is projection again? We have to be very careful in all this, understanding all this. Brahman, as though converts himself into the universe. See, these are all very subtle points. So how do you say the whole universe is Brahman? Because Brahman as though converts himself into the universe, because universe consists of three qualities: existence, consciousness, and limitlessness. Right? These three qualities is what Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma is what Taittiriya Upanishad says. So that Satyam means the Sat Vastu, the existence, pure existence. Chit, Satyam, Jnanam, Jnanam is Chit. And Anantam, limitlessness. All these things we find in the universe. And that is why we say Brahman has transformed himself into this universe, and that is why we say Sarvam Brahmamayam. Everything is Brahman only. If you go into the truth of everything, the inner essence of everything is Brahman alone. That is how we come to that conclusion in Vedanta. Is that clear now?
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other question?
That's it. Thank you.
These are all. See, as you more and more contemplate, more and more study different Upanishads, different Acharyas, then you put all them together rather. That is how we actually become convinced that what the scriptures say are right. Otherwise, merely because I am saying or somebody else is saying does not mean it is correct. But then we must actually get all the knowledge together, analyze them, understand them, and imbibe them. That is what is important. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Right then. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next week. Hari Om. Thank you.